Hiya folks, just a quick message before we start this episode. This report deals with a couple of heavy topics. There is specifically a mention of sexual abuse in one section. It's brief, but if you're sensitive at all to that kind of thing, maybe give this episode a miss. We'll be back next week with another character in another episode. Just wanted to call it out because I know it can be tough for people. So thank you very much, and if you're still around, enjoy the show.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Ciara Lawler. Welcome back to another week of Hero or Zero. This is the Heroes for Hire podcast. We are back again talking one comic book character, as we do every single week. We talk their good points and their bad points, so we generally just give you a bit of a rundown of everything to do with that character. Now, I am joined as always by my best pal, Mr. Shaun Mead. Shaun, how's it going?
I'm good, Connor. How are you? God bless.
I'm fine. It seems weird to start like that with the weird energy you're bringing, but I respect it, but I'm also scared.
I've been too hyper the last few shows. I decided I'm going to calm it down on a Friday.
Yeah.
Take it nice and easy, you know?
Also, my neighbour has decided to cut the grass at this exact moment, which I feel is very effective as a recording method.
Isn't that lovely now? That's the start of summer now, lads. Connor's on
you get another week out of that. Wait till March. Wait till March. You get another week out of it altogether.
Oh my God.
So, Shaun, this is Hero Zero. This is the show where we choose one comic book character. As I said, I normally choose DC characters, and Shaun normally chooses Marvel characters. So, if this is your first episode, you do not need to do anything. Don't worry about it. But if it's your second or more, we would appreciate maybe a like, a follow, 5 stars, whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on, or whatever means you can do just to kind of give us a bit of a rating of some sort.
Even in your own head, give us a rating.
Just 2 thumbs up in your head if you want. But as I said, we kind of get a bit more in-depth. Last week you did, of course, Spider-Woman, just because, you know, Madame Web came out. Pretty big deal. We didn't want to do Madame Web because that's pretty mad. And also Spider-Woman is Madame Web.
Yeah, it's a whole big thing. Also, the movie, apparently, who could have guessed, not very good.
I was shocked to know that the writers of Morbius did it again.
No one could have imagined they would knock it into the park again.
Somebody put up their IMDb page of like their last 5 movies, and someone was just like, how do they keep getting jobs?
They have dirt on someone in Hollywood.
Somebody in Sony, like, they have serious dirt that every time they do a movie they're like, should we hire anybody else or literally the 2 worst writers we've ever had? Whoa.
We're Sony. We're one of the last people that have money in this business.
We could literally just go to the street and say, do you want to write a Madame Web movie? It'd probably be similar.
Or just don't write a Madame Web movie. Like, it's that simple.
So what I'm doing this week, though, is, you've probably seen the title if you're tuning in, is I'm actually doing a character that was previously in a DC movie many years ago. A movie that reminds me of Madame Web and the Sony movies, because from the DC world, I'm going to take you all the way back, Shaun, to 2016.
Oh God.
There was a little movie, otherwise known as the Suicide Squad. At that stage, it was the only one, so not hard to mix it up with the Suicide Squad.
So this was Suicide Squad,
True. No, just Suicide Squad.
Oh my
and
God.
What are we? Some kind of Suicide Squad was in that movie, correct?
That's the one. What character? To be fair, any character you pull from that movie, aside from maybe Harley Quinn, is terrible. So,
well, I'm going to be doing Deadshot, played by Will Smith in the movie Suicide Squad.
Somehow made Deadshot a boring character.
It's a very strange thing. So this report was a lot of fun. It's also a report, very old listeners of the show will remember we did this all the way back 5 years ago. We actually covered Deadshot. Episode no longer exists. I went back to listen to it today because we have the files, and it's very funny listening to us. Right.
Are we as confident and relaxed as we are today?
I would say more blindly confident, less skilled.
That's a tough spot to be in.
It's kind of, they call it the white man syndrome.
Oh no, I've never experienced that myself.
It'll be fine, I'm white. That's what I said to you before every recording. But Shaun, we're going to do Deadshot, first created in June 1950. So his original origin is one that has kind of been carried over, but then they slightly changed it, as they always do. So I'm going to do his most interesting origin, a character that I feel like a great villain but also a bad villain, because anyone who knows anything about Deadshot knows Deadshot is the guy who never misses. Now, yes. Fantastic idea for a villain, bad when he has to fight our hero because he has to miss at some stage.
He can never. Every fight he's in, every major fight he's in, he has to lose. Yeah,
because if he comes up against, I don't know, Green Lantern or the Flash or Batman or whatever, like especially Batman a lot of the times, like if you do show him just killing 70 people in a row in 10 seconds, then when he comes up against Batman, why does he not just immediately take out a shotgun and kill him straight away?
Yeah, he should, like, Batman should be fully dead.
But also, as a character, super interesting. I really, really love this character. He was created by David Vernon Reed and Lou Sire Schwartz in the 1950. And he made his first appearance in Batman number 59. Now, the original Deadshot, not a lot was known about. No backstory whatsoever, really. Just a guy who was good at shooting.
That's how we like it. That makes a really easy hero or zero, ladies and gentlemen.
However, the character was significantly expanded upon by John Ostrander and Luke McDonald. Now, John Ostrander, if you don't know, was actually in The Suicide Squad, the James Gunn's one. He was as a doctor at the very, very start. He's one of the doctors in that scene.
That's really cool.
An incredibly famous and legendary comic book writer that James Gunn thought it'd be fun, because he created the... I don't want to say created, but he was very influential in the creation of the Suicide Squad and what they are today in terms of where they came from in the comic books. And also, very cool story that's really heartfelt. John Ostrander and his wife used to write a lot of comic books together. She passed away, but before she passed away, they came up with the idea of Oracle.
That's really cool.
Like, they came up with the idea of Batgirl being the girl in the chair.
That's a nice addition, and that's like stuck around since then because it just works so well.
Yeah, and they just came up with it. And so John Ostrander is incredibly influential. Anything to do with the Suicide Squad, and Deadshot, very much part of the Suicide Squad. So he's very influential in Deadshot's like backstory and history and everything as well. So Floyd Lawton is his name, and he grew up as a member of the Idle Rich. His father, George Lawton, made money in real estate, and his mother, Genevieve Pitt, belonged to a family of wealthy bankers. So all great people, all really nice, I assume.
Yeah, definitely got that wealth by their own merit as well.
His brother, Edward Lawton, was a golden child. Basically the opposite of Floyd, right? Both his parents doted on Edward, and they treated Floyd pretty shit, and he grew up idolising Edward. Basically, his older brother was like, you're the next big thing, and Floyd, you're a bit of a dickhead.
Floyd, you're shit. You're the worst.
You're kind of, from the day he was born, they were like, you're shit. Why are you not like Eddie? Right?
Okay.
So one night, Eddie locked Floyd in the boathouse because what happened was George was unfaithful. Right? So George was unfaithful to Genevieve. This is his father and his mother, right? Genevieve finds out, and she asks her sons to kill their father.
That's a weird move for a mother to make.
Weird move, but she asked the two sons, kill your father for me. So Floyd, he's the younger brother. He's like, I don't want to kill my dad even though I hate him. Like, that's pretty messed up. I don't want to do that. And
Eddie's like, I'll kill him straight away.
Eddie's like, I've already killed him. No, Eddie's like, I'll kill him. Don't worry, ma'am. I'll get him, right? So Floyd is like, he's protested. Eddie locks him in the boathouse. And when Floyd goes to try to warn his father, to basically like, he locks him in there, he's like, you're not getting out until this is done. Floyd, however, while his brother is getting ready, he breaks out and he grabs his hunting rifle. And when he gets there, Eddie had already shot their father in the second floor library, paralysing George for life. So he shot him in the spine and was preparing to kill their dad.
Right.
Now Floyd, he climbs a tree and he aims to disarm his brother, right, with the gun. He's going to shoot his hand.
Yeah.
But just as he's about to shoot, the branch snaps and he fires and he shoots his older brother directly between the eyes.
Fuck. I mean, it's a great shot, to be fair to him. But.
And one of my favourite lines in comic books is that he killed the brother he loved to save the father he hated.
God, that's good.
It's pretty good.
So Floyd's going to be really well adjusted for the rest of the story.
In terms of morally, I think he's perfect. From this point on, he never does anything wrong.
It was an accident.
It's an oopsie daisy. It happens, you know what I mean? The incident was covered up to avoid dishonouring the family name. George denied Genevieve a divorce and forced her to live alone on a small stipend, so he wouldn't divorce her to give her half of his money. What a nice man George is.
What a businessman.
Floyd made 2 promises to himself after this night. 1, when he becomes an adult, he will kill his father the next time he gets a chance. And 2, to never miss a shot again.
Technically, he didn't miss. He still hit his brother.
No, but he had an intention in his head and he didn't do that intention, so he did miss.
Right, okay. It's a technicality, but I'll allow it.
But if you're like, I'm going to shoot you in the leg, and then you shoot him in the head, like you missed.
You still shot them.
No, but you were aiming for something.
Look, his intention was to stop his brother from killing his father. He did that technically.
He just went around it in the wrong way. So, keeping the second promise, he begins training as a sharpshooter, and he joins the Marines from basically the very first step, trains his whole life to basically become the best shooter of all time, and then to get an extra level, he goes and seeks out professional assassin David Kane, who we covered in the Black Canary report. He is the father of Cassandra Cain, very, very high up in the League of Assassins, second in command behind Ra's al Ghul.
So he's doing like the Batman thing, but speccing into guns.
He's doing the Batman training, but speccing completely into just firearms.
That's really cool, and it's the complete opposite of Batman, who will not use
the complete opposite of Batman. You can see why who he will be the villain of when he first gets introduced. So he also this version of the character was also introduced as having a death wish. Basically, he has no concern for whether he'll live or die at any given time. It doesn't matter to him because
so he's fine either way.
Does not give a shit, and that's why he works so well in the Suicide Squad. So his original introduction is he turns up in Gotham and he's not full on killer at this stage. So this is the 1950s comic book, and they introduce him as less of like he's got a death wish, more of guy who's very, very good at guns.
Mercenary kind of dude.
Mercenary, but also you might like it or not, but the story starts, which is the most 1950s thing ever. Batman and Robin are on holiday.
In full costume, I imagine.
So they're on the beach in full costume, but they're on a cruise, okay?
Right.
And they just leave Gotham, okay? And so while they're gone, this guy shows up, a millionaire playboy wearing a domino mask, a top hat and a tuxedo, and he becomes a gun-toting vigilante known as Deadshot. He uses non-lethal shots to scare and capture criminals. And after a few days, Gordon officially recognises Deadshot as a crime fighter and even makes him his own version of the bat signal. He has his Deadshot signal.
That's a really quick turnaround for a signal.
Big turnout. Batman's gone for like 3 days at this stage.
Gordon is just like, the police force is so terrible that Gordon's just like, this guy can do, that's fine. 15
cigarettes a minute. He's so stressed. He's like, anyone, I'll take anyone at this point. So Batman and Robin, they return from their vacation, right? And Gotham's like, we got a new hero. Batman and Robin are shit. This new guy, he's
you're
where
all
it's
news,
at.
Batman.
Yeah, you're all news, right? Gordon fills Batman in on the situation, and Batman and Robin immediately suspect Deadshot isn't all that he says he is. They investigate and they uncover his identity. As they spy on him, they basically find out that his dream is to rule the city as a crime lord. Batman confronts him, but Lawton reveals the plans he has to kill Batman, because, like, can't have Batman if you're leading the whole city. And that any attempt to tell Gordon about the confrontation would only make Batman look jealous. So he can't actually do anything.
And that logic works, does it? It's the 50s, I suppose. That's
The next day at the police station, Batman and Robin eavesdrop on Deadshot's phone call, in which he tells one of the guys to tell a third man the perfect time to rob a bank, as the police will be distracted elsewhere. And Batman's like, I'm going to go tell Gordon, because he's a little bitch boy at this stage.
Yeah.
So he goes to tell Dad, Gordon, and he's like, not to alarm you, but like, that guy, he's not actually that good, and he's going to rob a bank today at 3 o'clock. I found that out on a phone call, which sounds desperate, and it is desperate.
I was just listening to his phone calls because I don't trust him for no reason. Don't worry about it.
No reason at all. He just has your love and I don't anymore, but no reason at all. And they go to the bank, and instead, it never gets robbed.
Of course.
Deadshot set them all up. Completely.
He's just fucking with him now.
Just fucking with him, right? And so the next day, Batman and Deadshot go out on what turns out to be a wild goose chase. On a waterfront, so they're tracking down somebody. Gordon's like, you both go out and get the bad guys, and they're like, okay, well, we gotta team up. Deadshot takes the opportunity once they're alone in this abandoned area to try to kill Batman, reasoning that everyone misses eventually, and explaining that it'll look like an accident when he shoots him, so it'll be fine. However, as he's never shot to kill before, his hands shake and he misses Batman repeatedly. And Lawton has a breakdown and confesses to Gordon. Afterwards, Batman reveals that he had actually changed the sights on all of Lawton's guns so as to destroy his confidence and defeat him psychologically. That's
even for Batman, that's a fucking insane move.
Do you know what though? That is so 1950s Batman of like, I'm not just going to defeat you, I will genuinely cause you to have a horrific panic attack on your way down.
But also, like, it's very 1950s Batman in that, like, there's no counter to that. Like, Batman is essentially magic in those comic books because he just pulls out whatever he needs.
How did he change all the sights? When did he do that? I don't know, but he changed all of the sights with this one guy, and he's trying to use the gun and he can't aim properly.
You ruin him. You ruin his confidence.
He wants to ruin his confidence rather than hurt him. He just wants to end him mentally. He wants him to just be sad. And
with like the retcon of his origin is like he's probably like has flashbacks to killing his brother.
Well, the thing is, years later, Deadshot breaks out of prison and he's become a hardened convict, right? Who no longer cares about hurting innocent bystanders. And he basically blames Batman for ruining his life and trying to kill him. And this is when he comes out with his brand new outfit that's probably most famous with the wrist gun mounted guns that he has as well.
Very cool design.
Very cool. The red suit. Oh, it looks slick. So Deadshot was arrested by the Flash in a different story at around this time after pulling a robbery in Manhattan. And when he gets sent to Rikers Island, Amanda Waller sends Bronze Tiger and Rick Flag and they turn up and they offer him a pardon if he would come work with Task Force X, so the Suicide Squad. He was placed as a member of the new Suicide Squad, and he's basically brought in. And he's not only after every mission, they all kind of disband, and then Amanda Waller gets everyone and brings them back. Deadshot does not disband. Deadshot lives in Belle Reve prison in Louisiana, and he literally just does missions.
That's just what he's about now.
Yeah, he has nowhere else to go. So Amanda's like,
he's
your
not like
leader.
going and, which is why in like the movie, it's like, oh, he has like this daughter that he really cares for and stuff.
He does have a son and daughter that I'm going to touch on. He's in a really fucked up story with them later on.
Cool.
But at his first initial stage, it's literally just, I've got nothing to live for. I just do this.
I'll just do this until I die on the job, like.
Yeah, and his psychologist, Marnie Hers, she suggests that he joined the team basically because he has a death wish. Like, he's just going to keep doing missions until finally he loses.
Yeah,
eventually.
so you may as well do some quote-unquote good in the meantime.
They went on so many missions at this point, like all through that stage, and one of them was they attacked the Jihad. Deadshot was supposed to neutralise Manticore, who was there, and he killed him immediately by shooting him directly in the face, point blank.
He doesn't miss.
When Belrev at a further time was attacked by the female Furies, Deadshot refuses to help and said that security was not part of the deal. He gets paid for missions.
I kind of like that. He's like, no, that's what I'm here for. I'm not doing anything beyond.
The fucking alarms are going off, like the place is on fire, and he's just like playing cards. He's like, not my job. That's on you, brother.
I don't want no smoke. Not my monkey, not my circus.
I'm not having it. Like, until they come into my room directly, and even then I won't attack them.
Yeah, it's like if they mess with me, maybe, but like I'm not fighting for you.
Yeah, exactly. And so like this is like one of the big parts of his whole life is that he becomes the leader of the Suicide Squad. Just him and Rick Flag are kind of the two leaders, and that Deadshot is like, he's an incredible just soldier, if you want to put it like anything else. Like he's perfect to have in the field. He also doesn't give a shit if he lives or dies. Like he's built for Amanda Waller Suicide Squad in that way.
You just put him where you need people to die.
However, the problem is that he actually began to take more and more suicide missions. And like he just kept getting more and more dangerous. He wanted to up the stakes every time because he's like, well, there's nothing else to do. Like, it's fine, because he never forgave himself for what happened at the start, so it doesn't matter. And he was sent undercover to kill a crime lord named El Jefe, and he slaughtered a plane full of gangsters and then fell out at the last minute as it crashed. So he locked himself into a plane full of gangsters.
Jesus Christ.
Just to test himself.
Just like, because he doesn't care. Like, best case scenario, he dies. Worst case scenario, he lives.
He does find out at this point that he has a son, and a woman that he had the son with is called Susan. And during along this time, they get into a really fucked up story once he finds out, because Susan comes to Deadshot and she tells him that their son Edward, he names it after his dead brother, which is nice, was kidnapped. And he's immediately like, fuck, I actually have something. It's a mission
to live for.
It's something to live for. It's a mission. So Deadshot tracks down his old associates who were holding his son until he completed an old contract. So the idea is that they said to him, like, we'll give you back your son. You just complete a contract for us first, and then you'll get your son back. Don't worry. Yeah. And he immediately refuses to negotiate and just starts torturing all of the men in a row to get the location of his son. He's like, the only thing I live for is my son at this point, and you have taken the one thing I care about, so I am not doing any of your work.
That's kind of hardcore. That's kind of great.
Yeah. Well, he also, Edward was trusted. They gave the son, where he found out, to a known paedophile known as Wes Anselm, right? In the area. And Wes, he raped the son and then killed him accidentally.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. Deadshot arrived too late to save his son. And when he arrived, he just straight up executed Wes straight away.
Good.
And this led him to the real mastermind of the plan, was his mother, Genevieve Pitt. From the very start, she set the whole thing up.
Is that actually canon, or is that some weird fucked up universe?
No, this is canon.
That's horrendous.
Because Deadshot's mother wanted him to kill his father. So Genevieve thought, well, my son is a serial killer. What's the best way I can get him to kill his old father, who's paralysed still and is probably in an old folks' home? Well, I'll kidnap his son and give him to a rapist, and that'll make him do stuff for me.
Hell.
So her own grandson.
Did he kill his mother?
So Deadshot's mother wanted to kill his father, George Layton, completing the contract that led to the death of Deadshot's brother. Marnie Hers convinced Deadshot to not kill his mother. She's in the room and she's like, don't kill her. That's what she wants. Instead, he cripples her the same way his father was crippled at the very, very start. In the aftermath, Marnie encourages Floyd to come back to therapy, but Floyd insists there's no cure for what he just did.
To be fair, that's fucked up.
Yes.
That's like unnecessarily
hard hardcore shit.
That's awful. I'm really not okay after hearing that.
Yeah. So I was just like, that story just always stands out to me whenever I think of Deadshot. I always think of that story. I'm like, holy shit. So that's kind of
He's just a man who just continually is traumatized the entire time.
Like, even when he starts getting something good, something terrible has to happen. And just after this, the Suicide Squad was blackmailed by a senator called Senator Cray. So Rick Flag decides to assassinate Senator Cray. He's like, they're going to get blackmailed. Rick Flag's like, no, we're not having that.
Yeah.
Flag is unaware that Amanda Waller had already dealt with this situation privately. So Amanda Waller had already dealt with it. Rick Flag doesn't know.
She'd shut it down, like.
Waller realises what he was planning and sent the entire Suicide Squad to stop Rick Flag from killing Senator Cray by whatever means necessary. Now, Simon Legrieve, who's on the team, this is just after his son has died. He's like, you are not mentally fit to go on this mission.
Fair point, honestly.
Amanda Waller disagrees. She's like, he's the best we got, and we got to stop Rick Flag.
But of course Amanda Waller's going to say that. She's the worst.
Put your uniform on. Get out there. You're grand. So Deadshot shows up, and he finds Rick Flag at the Lincoln Memorial, where Rick Flag is holding Senator Cray at gunpoint and is about to do it.
Very public.
Deadshot then stops Rick Flag by killing the senator himself, because following his orders to the absolute letter, by whatever means necessary, he stopped Rick Flag from killing Senator Cray.
It's technically fine.
It's technically fine, like you were talking about, like he did the mission.
Yeah, just like how he stopped his brother from killing his dad.
Yeah, the exact same. But following his orders, so then he whispered to himself. There's a fucking harrowing paddle after this. It's like when he kills him, it just cuts to him, and he just says to himself, "Ed, I killed the old man this time. Did just like Ma told me to do."
Fuck
That's all
me.
He says.
Dude, he like. Could someone get the man therapy and stop just
I don't think there's enough therapy in the world.
There's always enough therapy.
That's a lot. The police arrived and Flag tried to take Deadshot away. Basically, let's get the fuck out of here. Deadshot, with tears streaming down his face, said he would take care of the police and threatened to shoot Flag if he did not run away without him. There was a shootout on the steps, and Deadshot was hit with many bullets, but he managed to survive. In the hospital later, Waller was furious that Deadshot killed Cray, and Deadshot replied that her orders should have been more clear, because she told him to stop Rick Flag killing the senator.
That's true. Like, I like that he's he'll take a contract, but if it's not explicitly stated that he can't do something, that's just an option for him. That's cool.
To show you how fucked up he is and how much he hates himself, there's a story where a villain steals his costume and gets into a shootout and gets shot. And he keeps that costume and he keeps wearing it even though it has a bullet hole in it. And he looks at it because he imagines himself with bullet holes in himself.
And even when he's shot multiple times, he doesn't die.
He wanted to die, but he fucking woke back up and they kept him alive.
Yeah, he won't just give up. He will fight. He
wants to go. So he eventually, later on, I think they figured out that they'd literally fucked with him so much that there was even a story where he got sent to hell, and he got all these serial killers got sent to hell in this off-world story. Yeah. And they were like, you get the best wish you'd want. You get one wish, and you get a deal with the devil, and they're like, okay, well, we want to never miss whenever we're trying to kill someone. And the devil's like, cool, now you got to do something for me. You got to complete your darkest thing you've ever thought of. And he's like, right, I'm going to blow up a load of school kids.
Jesus.
That's his story. So he gets super the most dark, and then I think they realise that, oh shit, he's getting way too into this.
Might have pushed this guy too far.
So then he discovered he had a daughter called Zoe at this point, who was being raised in a crime-filled area of Star City by her mother. Lawton decided to do the right by his daughter and embarked on a lethal war on the local gangs in the area.
So he becomes the Punisher.
Exactly. And the series ends with Deadshot faking his own death, having realised that normal life is not for him. But he mostly clears up the area first and then convinces Green Arrow to patrol it more regularly, because that's his city.
That's kind of cool. Again, he's still hard, he's super messed up.
Yeah.
But I like who's like, this is something I can do to make things better in my own way.
So, in terms of personality, in his psychological profile, Marty Hers said that Floyd Lawton has strong self-destructive urges. Hers believed that he was looking for a way to die, and he hoped the Suicide Squad would provide one. Despite this, she said there's another side of him that wants to be well and does not know how. So Captain Boomerang once asked him, why do you live in a prison cell? Deadshot replies, a bed's a bed. He described himself as similar to Rick Flag and states that they're both like lone wolves a little bit. Rick Flag is the leader, he's the leader. They're kind of co-leaders, or if there's two teams, they're the two leaders of the two teams.
Yeah, they're two sides of the same. Like Deadshot is way further in the, angry direction, but Rick Flag is also they're from the same cloth.
I mean, he's always talked about how his brother is the only person he ever cared about, and he claims to just feel nothing, no guilt or remorse, basically. He said the only life anybody really cares about is their own, and he does not even care about that. So he's just killing time waiting to die, he said.
Jesus Christ. Solid character, not motivation, but solid character writing, it seems, the whole
it's as a character that starts off as a comic, a very 50s, comes in when Batman's on vacation, and then when the new writers come in and that new around the Crisis on Infinite Earths, around the 80s, and they come in and John Ostrander is writing that in the 80s and 90s, and Luke McDonnell, and they just expand it to the point of let's build this whole world. Why are these characters part of the Suicide Squad? What drives them to be there in that horrible situation?
Yeah, and because also they took the deal as well. They're happy to go on these missions.
Yeah, and so then they thought, wouldn't it be fucked up if one person just always took the mission? And the others didn't want to be there, but he just, that's just what he does. Yeah,
he doesn't care if he lives or dies.
So powers and abilities. He's hand-to-hand combat. He's one of the best fighters at all at DC. Interrogation, intimidation, marksmanship. So Deadshot is a master marksman, said to never miss. He is skilled with a wide variety of firearms, including his wrist-mounted guns, handguns, sniper rifles, assault rifles, rocket launchers, anything. He one-shot an apple off of Captain Boomerang's head with his eyes closed. He was able to intentionally graze the skull of a flying enchantress when now asked to take her down non-lethally. He was also even able to match Green Arrow in a shootout against each other.
Wow. Green Arrow had a bow, obviously, I'm assuming.
I assume so, yes.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
He also speaks Russian, so that's used to the Avengers. Suicide Squad are always going into missions in Russia, and he's their leader there because he speaks Russian when they go there. His senses and his eyesight are basically at peak human conditioning. He mentioned offhand that he could keep track of each beat of a hummingbird's wings and could easily keep track of movements of Captain Boomerang's son, who is moving in short bursts of super speed. So he could keep track of speedsters as well.
That's insane. And he's just a regular man.
Just a regular man, peak. He just specced into one thing.
Yeah, he's very, very, very good with firearms.
And he can... so when playing, he's also throwing things, not just guns. So when playing a game of darts with Green Arrow, both he and Deadshot hit the bullseye on every single throw.
Which isn't the best move in darts, but
it's actually less points, but it's just more. I think it's more style points, really. At that point,
it's more impressive, but we all know where your bread's buttered.
But yeah, so that is Deadshot. Played a lot differently in the movie by Will Smith.
In the movie, he's more just a guy who's kind of good with guns. He's less suicidal.
But you know what? I can kind of see that logic, because I don't know if you can go full... you can't go full Deadshot in movie form, otherwise you're going to put a lot of people off.
Yeah, even in Arrow, when he shows up in that, he wasn't as nihilistic, I think is the word. Like,
yeah, like I think he's one of those really interesting characters that's just like everything that's happened to him is so fucked up that like when he starts talking, like, well, that makes sense. That's why you're like this.
I think Floyd Lawton has been dead a very long time, and just Deadshot keeps going on.
That's such a good way of doing it. Like, he died so many years ago. There's just like this. There's just a shell of a man that looks like him.
He's just a ghost who's incredible with guns,
and just uses his talents to get money. And he doesn't even care what the money's for. He just like because he lives in Bel Rev, so like he gets paid, but it doesn't matter to him.
He just has it for. He just has it. He just does it.
He just wants to go on a mission to kind of feel some fucking danger.
Feel something, yeah. God, that's good writing.
Yeah. So that's my report on Deadshot.
Very good report. Do you want me to take us out, Connor?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of Hero or Zero. We will be back on Wednesday with Weird News Wednesday, and next Friday with another episode of Hero or Zero. Big thank you to everyone over on Patreon, patreon.com/Heroes for Hire podcast. Everyone who supports us over there gets extra shows. There will be a movie review coming up for February as well, so if there's any suggestions you have, leave them over on the Patreon and we might talk about it. There is also a merch store, heroesforhire.ie/shop. Twitter is @HeroesForHirePod, the 4 is the number 4. Facebook is Detective Divilment's discussion group. Instagram is Heroes for Hire podcast, and the best way to ever help out the show is to tell one human being that we exist.
Just a one, please.
And I think that's about it, Connor.
I think so. So I've been Conor Lawler.
I've been Shaun Chuck.
And we shall see you all next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.